Yo, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Johnny. Today we're doing a different type of reaction video. I was thinking of what's the way that I could clarify how Jubilee edited this video, and what better way to do a reaction video to myself on this video. So if any haters or trolls want to come watch this video, I welcome them. But if there's anybody who, because the people who like your message, them ain't the people who reach out to you. It's just the people who get triggered. And I don't really, if you notice, I don't give two damns about what somebody think about me. If my confidence was built on external situations or other people, then I'm not still standing. And as I said in the show, man, the average person could not grow up in the environment that I come from. And I mean that with every bone in my body, on my mama. If this is your first time to the channel, though, welcome. If you could hit the like button for me. And if you could also consider subscribing to the channel. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get 1 million subscribers. But if we can get 100 million subscribers and start 100 million thought-provoking conversations about what's really going on in today's world and how we all been emotionally manipulated by the media, I think we can change the narrative. So if you like what you hear, share the video far and wide. Without further ado, let's get into this.
When you're young, you're not thinking. And everybody has made a bad choice. And because you're stressed out, you go change your gender. Because you want to try something new, once you do it, you can't go back. The more you throw stuff at kids before they develop, that's indoctrination.
When Jubilee created Middle Ground, the intention was to uncover humanity and empathy shared among strangers with opposing
a right-wing nut. But we're gonna show
Whether
y'all
your
my
political
real
beliefs are on the
bias
left or the
score
right,
is. I
we all
can't
exist
wait to
within
shock
our
the
own
world
echo
to see
chambers.
how much Jubilee
So for this episode, we partnered with Ground
situation.
News and created a test that can analyze your news sources and show you their biases. The participants of this episode agreed to take the quiz and share their results.
Yeah.
We encourage you to do the same.
And I'm gonna share my real results,
Step
not
forward
the
if
results
you agree
Jubilee
with the
showed.
prompt. Cancel culture is a good thing.
We have the freedom to say what you want, but everyone else has the freedom to respond and cancel you if you say something that is racist, homophobic, transphobic, etc. Cancel culture is definitely good in the means of deplatforming people who are spreading very hateful messages.
What is your opinion on Trump being cancelled on Twitter?
When you go onto Twitter, whatever, you check I accept the, guidelines, the community guidelines, I agree to follow them, and he didn't follow them, so Twitter has the right to take him off the app.
And for people that might make the counter-argument that Twitter is biased and will only cancel right-wing politicians, that's not true at all. Twitter and other forms of social media have canceled left-wing activists. There is an equal balance on both sides.
You brought up canceling him off Twitter. I'm sorry, I disagree. When the Taliban can use our social media, but an ex-president can't, there is something wrong with that.
Did the Taliban violate community guidelines?
It doesn't matter.
I think it matters to Twitter what their community guidelines are. That's why they banned Trump, because Trump violated community guidelines. That's what every platform has, whether it be TikTok, YouTube, Instagram.
The Taliban stones people because they're gay.
If they've done that and they've posted videos of stoning gay people, I agree, they should be removed, and that
100%.
is fundamentally wrong. No,
Except
it's not.
the problem is they're smart enough to not do that.
Well, then why
okay,
wasn't Trump
then
smart
the
enough to
president
not do
wasn't
that?
smart enough to not do that, I guess.
If I'm an American and I have to vote between this person, I need equal access to both of them to decide what's right. Bro, you could be a Klansman, you could say you hate black people. That's not my job to.
And that sentence, if you hear how I was talking, that was edited when I said I need equal access, and then it jumped to you could be a Klansman. Like that's fraudulent. What I said was you need equal access to hear both sides. Frederick Douglass has a quote: "To suppress free speech is a double wrong. It hurts the hearer and the hearsay." You show me in history where either side, political party, left or right, has ever had the best interest of black Americans, yet the people in general, never. So I don't give a damn if you say, oh, we taking him off the platform because he's a Nazi. We're taking him off the platform because he's this. Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden is cool with Robert Byrd and spoke at his funeral. So I don't need you to protect me from good people and bad people. Let me hear both sides, and I'm a grown man. I can make my own decisions. The problem has always been some white liberals trying to tell black people what's best for they life, their community. And as I've said, look at all inner city communities: Chicago, Kansas City, Detroit, Baltimore, Philly, you name it, and they've been run by liberals 50 years plus. Yeah, I'm supposed to keep letting them make decisions for our community? No, I'm a man and I can make my own decisions for what I think is best for my family. And I'm sure 90% of men agree with me if they don't edit this shit to make it sound all crazy.
Police your language. I can't expect everybody to love me and think the way I think. All y'all think differently. I mean, that's totally dope. But the fact that you want somebody removed because they think differently, that could be you one day.
Do you think freedom of speech is something that still exists in America?
We do have aspects of freedom of speech. Like, you can't go into a movie theater and yell fire. So obviously there are limits of freedom of speech.
But they're picking and choosing who they're silencing and who they're letting talk.
If people react negatively to what you say, it goes both ways. You can't just say that, oh, they
100%.
can't. Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was edited too. I didn't say that shit
America
right there.
is becoming less and less safe.
I'll leave this to you guys.
So I have a lot of friends that have been in the military for the last 20 years because they refused to get vaccinated. They told me that they would be dishonorably discharged or kicked out of the military. I just believe we're losing a lot of good servicemen with the current situation that we're in right now.
A lot of police officers are down. Crime is up all over. When police aren't there,
I was edited.
they're murdering each other at a really high rate.
Edited. I said crime is up, and I named all of the cities. The leading cause of death for black men between the ages of 16 and 44 is homicide. Stop telling me to look somewhere else when I'm watching bodies drop on a consistent basis. I got probably 50 friends in jail that's in jail right now for murder. Another 50 friends that have been murdered. So don't tell me what the issues are when I'm right here in the trenches. I'm not somebody who grew up in the suburbs type shit. I really have a lot. I was going to high school writing RIP on my friend's locker on a consistent basis. So when I say that we need to look at our inner cities and the way we treat each other and have some conflict resolution, and when young boys need fathers and role models on how we should handle situations, everything that you put in front of our face on the media is talking about murdering another black man or disrespecting a black woman. And then you're shocked when our environments are the way they are. Well, if you believe that children copy what they see, what are you putting in front of our black children's face on the mainstream media every day? And then tell me that these same networks ain't run by liberal organizations. I'm not crazy, man. I just step back and I see how they using our pain for profit.
Police are in those neighborhoods because the homicide rate is high. Y'all can run around talking about police all you want, but I challenge any of these liberal kids to spend 2 weeks in the environment I grew up in, and I promise your perspective will change.
Oh, my
The
mom.
one advantage we have about being older, we've been through a threat or two. And our enemies, you know, like China, the Communist Party in China, they're laughing at us. You know, Russia's like, we don't need to do much. They're gonna.
There's a book called Color, Communism, and Common Sense, written by Manning Johnson in 1954. I challenge anybody to read it. If you really want to understand how the masses of black people are being used for someone else's political gain. And then I challenge you to go look at how many black Republicans was in Congress. I challenge you to read that the original Civil Rights Act was written in 1875 by a Republican. And then after the Compromise of 1877, that the Democrats in the South disenfranchised all of those black men out of their positions of power. I want you to go look at how black people could not be a part of the Democrat Party before 1924. I want you to go look at how the masses of black people start voting Democrat in 1932 and not 1964. All of this is factual stuff that most people don't know because the media has been lying to us forever. I was once lied to as well, so I get it.
Screw it up on their own. We need to get the help of our younger people that haven't been through a threat before to realize a lot of what's going on is not good.
Meet Suvi, the magical all-in-one countertop kitchen robot.
My name is Mike, I'm 59 years old, and I'm a conservative.
That are coming our way and how we don't have the infrastructure to deal with that.
I actually very much agree with that, because I think we need to define like kind of like what we mean by like we're less safe now. Do we mean like there's more homicides after COVID, or like what do we mean?
Bro said homicides after COVID. It been homicides my whole goddamn life. You show me one black person who grew up in an urban environment who didn't go to isn't used to homicides. From the age of probably 5 to 13, I went to a funeral every Saturday. A cousin, an uncle, a friend of the family. And then I was about 13, 14, I started losing my own friends. The first basketball team I played on, swear to God, out of the 14-man roster, probably 9 of them are dead. Some really good friends of mine really cared about Jeff, really cared about Gary. They wasn't just some street niggas. But y'all don't understand that because y'all just see it's the police problem. It's the police problem. As Tupac said, they keep telling me it's the white man I should fear, but it's my own kind doing the killing around here. And if I address what's going on in my community, somebody who ain't ever been in my community, who ain't got the heart to step foot in it, gonna try to tell me what's going on. Nah, bro. I really come from the projects. And nobody where I come from gives a damn about Republican or Democrat. We trying to make money, take care of our family, and get out the hood.
I would say before we got rid of half our military, half our police force, you know, slavery was legal. The Holocaust was legal. So we can look at all of these mass atrocities and say we're doing.
Now I'm going to ask you a question. What the hell would the police force and the military have to do with slavery, right? What would that have to do with talking about homicide rate? So that's why I say anybody who watch, just pay attention. What, as a logical human being, like, bro, I'm black. I grew up in the hood. I was born and raised Democrat like everybody else. So to understand that all these things that they pushing, they want free health care. They want free schooling. Go read Hitler's 25-point program. If I'm so crazy. I know what it's like to be. My mama said the one thing that you never do is take help from the government. Because God rest her soul, when she got Section 8, we couldn't get off that bitch until we got evicted. But anytime she worked a summer job, my mama worked for more than 3 months. We got a letter, hey, you making too much money. Like people who don't really grow up in these situations swear they know what it's like. Do you know what it's like to hop on your bike and ride around to look for the mailman and say, hey, you got my mama's welfare check? Because I do. plenty of Wednesdays. Riding around looking for that mailman, going pretty far on my bike. And oh man, when they had mama's check, I rode my bike back home fast as hell.
What's right? Everybody who was a part of the Holocaust government, they were doing what Hitler said. They were doing what was right. So everybody losing their job for not getting vaxxed and all the vax people, you got who can we control? Everybody who get the shot, that's who's gonna do what we say. The enemies are coming, and we don't care about that because we want to care about what color we should wear and pride and critical race theory. It's like no one else cares about that but us in America. That's our problem.
And if critical race theory is about race, right? Like let's challenge what we're doing. If the system is inherently racist against black people, why would you trust that same system to teach your children about race? Tell me. Isn't that something that you as a parent want to teach your child? Why do you trust a racist system to teach you the truth about anything? I read independently for myself. Do you think critical race theory is going to teach you about Frederick Douglass, Jack Johnson, Booker T. Washington, Ida B. Wells, Marcus Garvey, James Baldwin, Huey P. Newton? You think you about to learn all that in critical race theory? Or you think they about to just talk about the white man, I'm tired of talking about the white man. I don't care what they doing. I care about uplifting myself and showing my people we can do anything regardless of our color. Why is that? What's wrong with that? Why is it bad to have a mindset that my skin color does not hold me back?
You think that talking about sexual orientation and all that kind of stuff takes away from the safety of our country?
Who you sleep with has no merit in the real world. What does it matter?
Okay, let's just broaden this.
Let's look at this. I guarantee you there's some gay millionaires. I guarantee you there's some trans millionaires. Like this idea that other people have to accept you for who you are. I'm 100% okay with people hating every word that comes out of my mouth. God didn't place me on this earth to fit in. God placed me on this earth to be special. And if you're gay and you're trans, that's you. So what if no one else accepts that? Stop looking for acceptance and believe in your own damn self. You be your own approval. Stop looking for external validation. Stop looking for the world to congratulate you because the world is capitalizing off people's low self-esteem. And that's coming from somebody who was caught up in this same BS of thinking the world gave a damn about me. The world don't care about you. The government don't care about you. You have to care about you. Your family, your friends, the people around you care about you. But the general mass public, they going to make their own assumptions and their own thoughts about you anyway. So why would you waste your time caring about what some strangers think? You think I give a damn what people writing about me in the comments? Tom Brady ain't in the comment section, bro. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, the greats ain't in the comment section. So I'm not worried about that.
Scope. With the coronavirus pandemic, why did it take weeks for us as a country to mobilize together to fight to fight the public health crisis that was already affecting the nation.
It was a scam to get Donald Trump out of office. It's all fake. My opinion.
I agree with you.
I don't think that we could.
And that was edited once again because me and the guy had a nice dialogue. And what we said was, COVID exists. It's real. However, the way it's been politicized lets you know it's not as big issue as it really is. And the reason I say that is because I remember 9/11. And 9/11 wasn't politicized, right? But you go look at every issue that has been politicized and it lets you know, oh, this shit is for political gain. This is for power. I got a good friend, Justin, who passed away from COVID. So I'm not naive that people aren't getting sick and losing their life. I understand that. But not once have I heard somebody on TV talking about getting more exercise, taking vitamins, getting more vitamin D, eating healthier, meditation. I haven't heard anything about helping us boost our natural immune system. I haven't heard taking elderberry supplements and apple cider vinegar. I don't hear about none of that. I just hear about getting the vaccine. Well, why the hell you ain't pushing people who got cancer to get better? If this is about the health and we care about people and saving lives, I know a lot of people who got depression. I know a lot of people who overdosed. My mama overdosed on opioids. So if this is about helping people, then let's help all people. That's why I say COVID is fake. It isn't that people aren't getting sick and dying from COVID. But you would be a liar to say this isn't being politicized by both sides. And as humans, someone has to say, I'm tired of being a political football. I'm not diehard either side, bro. I'm a human who have my own thoughts, my own views, my own opinions. No one else thinks for me. I don't watch Fox News. I don't listen to Candace Owens. I don't have any external anyone influencing me. So the fact that so many people think that I just can't be an individual and make my own thoughts, like, damn, bro, I don't know you and I wouldn't disrespect you. Respect me as a man who has the ability to think. I got a brain just like you do.
The Democrats could create some international plan, getting all.
And that's what I say, man. Like I said, you show me one mass atrocity. Look through history. I challenge everybody to Google, Wikipedia, all that, and show me what the Democrats didn't have their hands in. Show me the Democrats didn't slavery. Show me the Democrats didn't assassinate Lincoln. Show me the Democrats didn't assassinate MLK. Show me the Democrats didn't assassinate JFK. Show me the Democrats didn't come up with the Jim Crow laws. Show me. Show me the Democrats ain't the same one that put us on a black water fountain, and now the Democrats are the same one running around saying you're just a black vote. Show me that ain't true. Because I think I'm more than a vote. I think I'm a man. I think I'm an individual. But everything I hear from the Democrats is black, 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 black. And if you go back to the 80s, everything from the Democrats was African American, African American. And then if you go back to the 60s, everything from the Democrats was Negro, Negro, Negro. See, I'm tired of letting somebody tell me what I should be and what I should do. That's why I love Malcolm X so much, because I say Malcolm X made it okay to be a man when society wanted to keep us in control. And I'm tired of somebody trying to control me. And I hope any young black man who watches this video, if you don't get nothing else from me, stop letting somebody else tell you what to do or how to think. Listen to your intuition. Trust your gut. You know what's right for yourself. No faith needed is around you when you got unlimited faith within you.
All of these scientific communities outside of just the US and even international governments on their side for something that they're just trying to get Trump out of office, I feel like that's heavily ridiculous.
Trump was the thorn that nobody saw coming, and they had to find a way to get him out of there. If there's no mail-in voting, 100% Trump is the president right now, 100%.
Yeah, because overwhelmingly mail-in ballots were to Biden, and that's obvious. Like,
exactly.
It's not because mail-in ballots are fraudulent, because mail-in ballots are actually not fraudulent at all. That this election was the safest election in recorded history.
There's a lot of videos, so you see people with fake ballots, so that's here and there. I'm not.
That's just hearsay from random people on TikTok. Are we really gonna
like? First off, bro, I don't even use TikTok at all. However, once again, I challenge you to look into history. Lyndon Baines Johnson. He said the only election he ever lost, someone showed up with a handful of fake ballots last minute. And that was, I think he said that was the 50th election of 57. So if we're going to be naive that people don't do fraudulent stuff and hack elections and all that stuff, then you got to know your history. I'm not saying 100% that every ballot for Joe Biden was fake, but it's like, you mean to tell me Joe Biden was more popular than Barack Obama? Are you really trying to play me like that? I was 18 outside at 6 a.m. to vote for Barack Obama. I was there, bro. I seen the T-shirts, the candles. I seen the Obama, the Yes We Can flags. I was driving around picking people up to vote. So don't tell me, because I was in the hood when Obama won. And I was in the hood when Trump won. And I was in the hood when Biden won. And it ain't the same as when Obama won, because trust and believe me, when Obama won, the hood knew we voted for him.
Like, take that as like empirical evidence.
Personal opinion.
This is the Easy Bar, a complete gym you can use at home or anywhere you want to take it.
My name is Parker, I'm 19, and I'm a liberal. My sisters and I have become a lot more liberal, a lot more left-leaning over time, while my parents have stayed a bit conservative. Before, putting people first instead of the big news or the big story, we can change that aspect of society.
I agree with you 100%. Like I say the civil rights movement is the civil rights entertainment industry because it's so profitable. Put a police shooting on TV, it's breaking news. Every headline is on every social media. You're selling shirts, you're selling signs. That's so much more profitable than showing me and you shaking hands. The news media is literally capitalizing off the emotions of society. No matter how you feel about it, handle it in your privacy of your house. Why? Because if you can do it on camera, somebody's gonna make $1 off of it, and that's not fair to you.
Young people today are too sensitive.
How everyone didn't grab that. In real life, though, I always said the biggest downfall of the civil rights movement, there was no checks and balances. You know, 30 years later, somebody could look back at us and say, this is what worked, that part didn't work. Let's try to do that differently. Let's take that out altogether. No one has looked at anything. We just kept saying, give us more, give us more, give us more, give us more. And if the same hand that puts you in the ghetto is the same hand that has to feed you, then how do you get out the ghetto? How don't you pay attention to how you got in? Read The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. Like, we're trained to think all of our problems can be solved by government. And I say go back to African spirituality, bro. You don't believe in yourself? I'm not saying you got to be Christian and believe in Jesus Christ, whatever you talk here, but you don't believe that your ancestors had some spirituality. You don't believe they had some power? Stop letting people tell you Black history starts at 1619. We was people before that, bro. Black history starts millions and millions of years before 1619. Stop letting people reduce you to a slave and nothing more than a slave.
So I think it's a good thing that young people are sensitive. I think today they can be more sensitive than what they probably could have been 30 or 40 years ago. You know, the growing up was the Berlin crisis, the Cuban Missile Crisis. I mean, we had the threat of annihilation, you know, staring at us several times. And a lot of times I go, you know, thank God John Kennedy handled it.
The country has been spoiled for so long. They're trying to make it so a man can't be a man. And if you don't let men be men, then things start crumbling. Society crumbles, families crumble, and broken homes start happening.
And kids need their fathers. So 36% of kids don't have a father. So every boy is, well, my mom is mad at me, my dad don't love me, my dad don't care about me. Maybe I should be gay, maybe I should be trans, I don't know who I am. And your father puts confidence.
And once again, that was edited. Do I think your father 100% directs your sexuality? No. What logical human was? However, let's say hypothetically, I'm a 12-year-old boy and I don't know if I'm gay. Let's say I'm a 15-year-old girl and I don't know if I'm trans or not, right? Who better to discuss that with than my mother and father who love me, care about me, and support me openly? Now, there are a lot of young children who don't have parents who support them, and that's very unfortunate. There are a lot of young children who they come to these conclusions about their sexuality or their gender, and they get rejected by their family, and that's extremely unfortunate. However, that's not the context I was saying this in. You know, they talk about white privilege all the time, but as a young Black kid, I grew up in extreme poverty, but I had something real. I had a mother and a father who loved me to death, and I had extreme confidence in me and never told me that I couldn't do something and I couldn't be something because of my skin color. I can call my dad right now and sit on the phone for hours and talk to him. Every time I talk to my dad, he tells me he loved me. Every time I've ever talked to my mom before she passed away, she told me she loved me. So when I say the young kids can be confused, yes, you can be, because the world is throwing a lot of things at you, and you need someone that loves you, that you can sit and talk to openly without about these issues without the fear of being judged or scrutinized or criticized. I don't know what that's like, but I'm sure every young kid can agree with me that if you got a mom and a dad that accept you and love you for who you are, no matter what your choice is, it makes that choice a hell of a lot easier. You don't have to lie about it or hide or sneak and all that. And that's what I'm saying why fathers are important. Now, if you got a father who judge you and criticize you, then shit, that don't help your situation. But that wasn't my life. And I come from an environment where black kids don't have fathers. Like, it said 36%, but that was edited. 36% of white boys, well, not white boys, but just 36% of white children are growing up in single-parent households. 80% of black children are growing up in single-parent households. That's something that someone should care about. You can't tell me that 80% of black fathers don't care about their children and 36% of white fathers don't care about their children, and that number is slowly increasing. You just can't tell me that the same women that are raising us young boys, we grow up and then not care about our children that we create. Something is happening within the system. And I don't care if any of my children turn out to be gay, straight, trans, any of that, because I'm their father and I love them for who they are and how I created them. One thing I will tell them is that whatever you are, you be comfortable in that. Don't look for the world to validate you. Don't look for other people to agree with you or to stand next to you. You be comfortable standing on your own 2 feet, 10 toes down. And if you comfortable and solid in yourself, then that's all the hell that matter.
Confidence in you. No disrespect to anybody, but the younger generation of men are soft. And if we had to go to war, they're not protecting America. There's no better place to be as a black individual or whatever you are in America. Go to the Middle East right now and say you gay or you trans and see how they treat you. Johnny, I'm 32 years old, and I am a conservative parent. My grandfather was a no-excuse individual. He grew up in the Jim Crow South, but he worked hard. The house that he bought is still in our family today. He had a garden in his backyard. If you step past a certain line, he got on you. So to watch the men before me who really could have been lynched for stepping out of line, who really could have went through a hardship for not doing what society said, the worst thing that can happen to me is I get a mean tweet or a dislike. So I gotta fully embrace who I am, and I know I can create anything with my 2 hands and feet.
And like I said, the worst thing that can happen
Meet
to me
Suvi,
is
the magical all-in-one countertop
square-ass
kitchen
little
robot.
kids leaving comments negative.
I'm Hannah, I'm 17, and I'm a liberal.
Like, what don't you...
This idea that because...
Like, what don't y'all get about... Like, I grew up in a homeless shelter. I grew up in Section 8. My mama used to have to put me in the bathtub so bullets wouldn't come through the house. Drug dealer got shot on my porch when I was 16. Hey, when I say y'all really don't know who y'all dealing with and what environment I come from, as Frederick Douglass said, man, knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. And I done read too many books to understand how this thing called life works. Malcolm X told me about the media. Malcolm X told y'all about the media. So don't fall into the game, my people.
Because men are being raised by women, that they're weaker is, in my opinion, completely false. Our generation, it's not more sensitive, we're more aware of all these things. Being transgender and gay is not something that should be ashamed of or make you feel less. In today's society, that is why women are fighting for equality, because this idea that because they only have a mom, they're weaker, or because, they're more sensitive. That's,
said that?
In my opinion, completely false.
And I would say in the environment that I grew up in, the teen pregnancies come from girls without fathers. The homicides come from people without fathers. Every girl that I know, if they grow up with a daddy, they get married before they have a kid.
Why do they not have fathers?
If you want me to be real, because a lot of women make bad choices on the men they procreate with. If you make a bad choice, that's your responsibility. Every bad thing that I did in my life, it was when my daddy was in jail. When my dad was out and I had my dad's reassurance, I was a better person.
I also think we got to piggyback on that. Liberal policies incentivize single-parent households. But let's be 100% honest. I became a young father, and I had a choice. 19 years old. I could have stepped up and raised my child, or I could have said, I'm out of here. Every young woman that I dated didn't have a father. No cap. So I don't get why hearing truth bothers people. You know and I know. Look at all the movies 20 years ago when you went to go pick up the girl for the prom and dad was at the door with the shotgun. Look at Martin in Bad Boys. Do we have a problem with Will Smith? That aspect is gone. It's the daughters and the mama there. And if you think I can finesse your daughter, then on God, I can finesse your mama too. Men can get stuff out of men that women can't. And that's not saying here or there, because women can look at women and see things that men can't. That's why we compliment each other. There's plenty of times that a girl's like, something ain't right about her vibe. And the dude is like, I don't get it. So to pretend that young girls don't need protection, there are predators in this world. Let's be honest. There are predators trying to get young boys and young girls. Don't you think they deserve a father to protect them? Women get harassed all the time. Don't you think that woman deserves a man to protect her? Don't you think she deserves a gun to protect her if she ain't got no man? Right? Like, don't you think women deserve to be protected? So if you do think women deserve to be protected, then they either should have a man to protect them. And if she doesn't want a man, which I totally respect, then she should get a strap to protect her. I'm not going to tell her, go get you a nice knife and make sure that handles the job. No, get you a strap.
One daughter that had to move across the country to get rid of a toxic relationship with somebody that was harming them.
Why does the woman have to move across the country because the man is being toxic? Why can't the man be taught, don't be toxic?
Oh, I agree.
Women nowadays have to deal with those kinds of relationships.
For the man to be taught that, once again, don't you think he should be taught that from his father or how he should conduct himself? I'm not saying that a woman can't put principles and values in a young boy and a young man. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying a woman has never had to walk this earth 24/7 as a man. So because we're biologically different, our brains are different, we view the world differently, like our vision, everything about us is different. Don't you think the young boys should be taught to be men by men? I've never heard a bunch of people say, we need young men to start teaching girls how to be girls. It's never that. But the moms are supposed to teach the boys how to be men. Make it make sense. That's all I'm saying. I know how solid I am, and it's because I grew up with a dad. And I know a lot of my friends who are still struggling in life and trying to figure out who they are. They did not have a father. I don't get what's wrong with acknowledging the importance of fathers, especially in the black community. It's weird how we want to pretend that men and women need to be against each other when we need each other, bro. There's no one without the other.
Women, the mother knows better, I would say, than the father about that.
We're not more sensitive, there's just more opportunities for us to be sensitive. You can say like 15, 20 years ago, there weren't videos of black men being shot by police all over the internet. Now that that's there, people are...
It wasn't on the internet, but it was in our reality. And this is why I say everybody who's hopping on the Black Lives Matter wave, they fraudulent, because this is new to them. This struggle of black people and being shot and being gunned down, it's new to the world. But to us, it's the norm. And to us, we also know that Barack Obama, who claimed he was down for the people, signed a Blue Lives Matter law in 2016 to protect police. We also know that you can go look at most of these cops are registered Democrats. We also know that the toughest gun laws that keep black men in jail are in liberal cities. So if it's about black men, then understand what's going on with black men. Understand how we in jail for petty crimes, right? And gun law. Who wouldn't carry a gun in the inner city? Who wouldn't carry a gun in the inner city? Literally, tell me. Why would you feel safe in these environments? And if you tell me it's because of lack of resources, then once again, you don't know these people. You don't get it. It shows your disconnect with it. And I respect that, because I don't know anything about your culture. Because your culture ain't blasted all over TV to make you feel like a victim. I don't need more black pain on TV. I'm tired of watching the world celebrate black people get shot. And I don't need you to stand for me and march. Show the masses of black people how to become millionaires. Show the masses of black children how to start coding. And put that on TV every day. In today's episode of Code, which y'all don't want to empower us. The most disheartening thing you could do to a young black kid is sit him in a classroom and tell him he can't be successful because of his skin color. That's from the Miseducation of the Negro, originally published in 1933. And that was in this video, but it was edited out. Stop defining me by my skin color. I don't look at you as you just a skin color. You're an individual.
More inclined to feel a certain way or take a stance on that topic.
Do you think it would be more beneficial to show police also interacting with white guys? Because more white guys get killed than black guys by cops.
If you look at the amount of white people and the amount of black people, there are...
And that was edited. And I said, do you think it'd be beneficial to show white people. Because think about this, most white people don't give a damn about black issues. But if you make this a policing issue, a police versus the people, then you get a lot more ears, you get a lot more eyes. But if you keep throwing race out there, it's going to fall on deaf ears, especially when you start everybody's evening news with breaking homicides. When you start every morning news, homicide overnight. Teenage black male shot dead. 3 shot dead. 5 shot dead. Rapper Young Dolph shot dead. Nipsey Hussle shot dead. You don't think that's falling on deaf ears? You don't think you tuning so many people out when all you celebrate is our murder? Because all you celebrate is black people murdering black people. And then you want white people to care when a white person do it. Make it make sense, dog. Make it make sense.
Going to be more white people killed because there are more white people in America. The percentage of black people that are being killed
white
is
versus
higher
black issue.
than the percentage of white people.
Well, just because you're pulled over doesn't mean you have to resist. I mean, they don't just kill you when they pull you over. It's all about based on how you perform as an individual. I've been pulled over and never had a bad interaction in my life. When I was rude, I got snatched out the car. Everything is a personal choice. If you can't take accountability for your life, then you will forever be a slave.
That's not true. There are definitely issues on the side of policing. Black communities, majority black communities, majority POC communities are over-policed.
Nigga, I live on 27th Street. I done been on 12th Street, 33rd Street, 51st. Hey, the police don't be around here messing with us like that, dog. When I was at 31st Street playing basketball and people was riding down the street with chops, it wasn't the police pulling them choppers out. Like, that's why I say y'all perspective of the environment we live in is flawed. You really think cops are just out here on the corner harassing us? You really think that's how it work in the hood, huh? The cops just stand around, oh, some black people came outside again. Hey, like I said, I challenge y'all to come to the hood, man. I'll take y'all around. We can get some good food. Y'all can go meet some people. We can go to, y'all can understand it. I'm not rare. There are a lot of people who feel the way I feel. They just don't get the platform. I'm standing up for the people who, they always want to put an ignorant person on TV. I can talk, people, and I look good.
There's larger patrols in black communities. There are police work longer hours in majority black communities. So there's an issue from the police.
Because there's less cops working, bro.
Politics has damaged my relationship with a loved one.
And they edited my question on this one. It didn't damage mine at all. I ain't lost a friend, a family member, a cousin, an uncle, an auntie, nothing. Everybody still loves me. Everybody. So everybody. And that's something we got to be honest. You know, everybody wants to say if you're a black conservative, your family did something. On God, I ain't lost not a friend, a cousin, an auntie. All my white liberal homies are still cool because real recognize real. And I'm not saying anything that's not 100% factual. So once again, the people who don't know me, they can make whatever assumptions they want. But when I say I haven't lost a person close to me, on God, that's how you know it's real.
I think that's sad. Do all my family members vote the same? No. Do we have a pretty good idea of how family members may have voted? Yeah. But we went more of agree to disagree. I'm not going to not buy you a present for Christmas because, you decided to vote for somebody that I don't like. Give me a break. Families are special. And we've got too many people, as you've talked about, that don't have them.
Now, did you notice he said, as you've talked about, that don't have families? Now, why wasn't that in the show? Why everything positive that I said about kids needing families and the support and love, like I said, if you think that they didn't edit this in a certain way, then that's your perspective. But after this video, I'm going to show you what my real bias score is. And they don't want black people and white people to come to common ground. The show said it's middle ground, but if so, then why did you try to paint me out like I'm a right-wing conspiracy theorist? But we're going to keep moving. But I see how y'all trying to break the family and divide people.
When I took this prompt, I kind of took it more of like my view of the person changed differently because, not because of the way they voted, but because some of their values to me were, like you said, moral values, and that shows kind of part of their characters.
Would you say that morality is subjective to each individual person, though? Or would you say morals are the same across the board?
The basic is human equality for all. And so if you don't believe that somebody should have an equality based on their gender, their sexual orientation.
When Margaret Sanger created Planned Parenthood, was it created for equality at all? Or did she say black people were weeds that need to be exterminated? See, when you know history, you look at all this stuff a little differently. And that's why I say I ain't knocking any of these young kids for their perspectives. I think they all spoke really well. I have nothing but love and respect for them. It ain't no beef. It ain't no keep living, keep growing, and keep flourishing and becoming the best version of you. However, you have to say when you're for equality, understand what's really going on. Understanding when you're champion for LGBTQ rights, which I totally respect. Let's say I'm the head basketball coach at Duke, and I got a choice to recruit some women that can hoop or some trans women that's got a little more muscle tone, a little more height. If I'm trying to win that national championship, I'm giving them scholarships to those trans girls. And by what you're saying, and that's totally okay, but that's taken away from you. Whatever you're doing, you're losing it. Now, if you're comfortable with that, it ain't my job to tell you that can't happen. But I have to speak on that's a reality. I have to speak on the fact that the more scholarships to go to trans girls, the less go to girls. The more opportunities that are given to trans girls, the less opportunities that can naturally be given to regular girls. Unless you see something that I don't see, maybe that's where we can connect, because I'm not here to down anybody. And this show really tried to put it like we were enemies. I love all people, bro. Like, on God, who am I to not like another human? This is you having your individual human experience. Do what you do, but wash my shoes. We all can thug it out together. There's enough space for all of us. There's an abundance for all humans. Riches for everybody.
Their race or anything like that, that's a moral problem in my eyes.
That's a huge thing with the trans and the gay and the LGBTQ and all that whole thing. So I grew up LDS. Being Utah County,
I don't even know what LDS is.
Mormon. At 8 years old is when you get baptized. And so if you're raised around where 95% of people think the exact same way, I feel like that's too young of an age where you're a child and you don't really know what you're doing. And so where I have a problem with the trans or these different things is they're getting kids at like 10, 12 years old and they're pushing them down that path.
Who's they?
Who's they?
Mm-hmm. Who's indoctrinating these kids into becoming LGBTQ and et cetera?
There's a lot of groups out there.
Like?
I've just heard that there's groups out there. I don't know. You don't think there's groups out there that do that?
No.
I'm assuming you're a straight man, so I think it's weird for you to comment on the queer experience and what that's like for someone growing up who's struggling with those experiences. The way you're describing it as indoctrination, people...
To say it's weird for a straight white man to speak on the queer experience, all right. Why do so many people in the world feel they need to speak on the black experience? Why do so many people think they can speak what it's like to grow up in an urban environment if they've never been there? If they've never had a gun in their face, if they've never shot a gun themselves, if they've never watched a body drop in front of them. I agree with you. You can't speak on what you don't know. That's why I don't run around screaming anything, because I'm not you. You're not me. See, but when you put people in groups, when you say the LGBT group, the black group, the white group, that's when people can make general assumptions off you. You know, the smallest minority is the individual. Let's keep that in mind.
People who are figuring out their sexualities and their queer identities aren't necessarily going to ascribe to the first labels that are put before them.
If I'm not mistaken, the brain isn't fully developed until you're 25 years old, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So I know how I used to think at 16. Man, I know how I used to think at 21. Man, I'm not against kids doing whatever they want. It's just the older you get, you change. I got my first tattoo at 15. I'm covered now. If I was a little older, I probably would have waited. When you're young, you're not thinking. And everybody has made a bad choice. And because you stressed out, you go change your gender. Because you want to try something new, once you do it, you can't go back. The more you throw stuff at kids before they develop, that's indoctrination, because you're trying to get them while they're not fully cognitive to know what's going on. And
I don't see how that's a bad phrase. Once again, do I think being stressed out 100% makes you? No. Like I said, that was a soundbite. But if I was trying to create a TV show and I wanted people to click on that thing, I would create a soundbite too. But life is hard for every freaking person that got to wake up. I couldn't imagine being a young kid struggling with my sexuality. I know what it's like to be a young kid and not be able to eat, but I was never touched or abused or any of that. I couldn't imagine going through any of those situations of being a young girl who's been, all of that. But I'm a firm believer that having parents that love you and that you can talk to about those things, they help you. I couldn't imagine being one of these teenagers and, like he said, struggling with your identity and not having nobody close to talk to except strangers on the internet. They don't give a damn about you. But the people who raise you, to pay the light bill, that change your diapers, they care about you. So these are the conversations that you should be able to have with them. Just my personal opinion.
The older you get, the more conservative you become.
When I got older and I had kids and I had a family, I actually started reading policies. Everything about me changed when I became a father because I had a reason to. And I'm sure you would agree with that.
Yeah.
And let's not preface this like 99.9% of young black people aren't born liberal. Like let's not pretend like we're not all raised in liberal environments. So when I say the older you get, the more conservative you get. You understand how life works. You start valuing money. When you come from an urban environment, there is no structure. I don't see anything wrong with growing up and looking at life and say the way I've been living was wrong. That's not to say anybody else on this video has to grow up and become more conservative or any of that. But in Black America, if you look at the way we conduct ourselves, how much fun we have with the music, with the club on every Friday and Saturday, with the twerking, are any of those things creating longevity for you or your family or your grandchildren? No, they're not. So when you get older and you realize I got the power to create a legacy, not only for myself, but for my children, my grandchildren, my great-great-grandchildren, that's when you become conservative. Everybody doesn't want that, which I respect. But I want my name to still be around 150, 200 years after I'm not walking this earth no more.
As I've gotten older and the environment we're in right now, I feel like they're trying to cancel the Constitution. They're trying to cancel Christianity.
I mean, most teenagers are liberal. I was liberal when I was teen. Mm-hmm. It's fun. Culture is liberal. So when you're younger, you're going to be a part of culture. Right. When you're older, you're trying to raise your family. You don't have a time to care about what LeBron James said or who did that. Just when you mature, you value what's around you.
It's a great day to help people
say
customize
that
and
as
save
an
with Liberty
individual.
Mutual.
I worked at a private school, so it's not like I'm talking about kids and I wouldn't work with them. I worked at a Montessori through 12th grade private school, real life. I was around kids every day. Rich kids too. That school was $15,000 a year.
I'm 36 years old and I'm a conservative parent. My dad's kind of my idol. I've seen him basically build a very successful life. And my happiest times I've lived by conservative values.
Building off of what you're saying about like teenagers, we're a different generation, and so we view the world differently, and I think that's probably why you've seen more teenagers be liberal, because we just view the world that way, but I don't think it has anything to do.
No, my generation, I was liberal too when I was a teenager, and all my friends were too. And when you're a teenager, life is fun.
Show me a generation
totally
of teenagers that hasn't been liberal.
That's what I get the teenage. As you grow, you either can run away from responsibility or embrace responsibility. When there's real things going on, you start living your life a little different. Versus when I was young, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about corporate gains tax, and I didn't know about my stock account, and I didn't know that I can, all these things that I didn't know when I was a kid.
So when people are generally talking about taxing the rich more, they're talking about the top 400 billionaires that are literally paying a lower effective tax rate in taxes than the middle class.
Pocket
the top 400
watching.
billionaires
We don't
paying
do
an
that where I
effective
come
tax rate
from.
of 8%. That's obviously not a fair share. And I think obviously everyone can agree here that they should be paying at least a fair share, right?
How do you increase taxes on someone's assets, though? Most of those billionaires aren't.
Unrealized capital gains is how they're specifically trying to do it now, but it would be through long-term capital gains, because a lot of the people who are paying those taxes, they're paying capital gains tax rate. There's also tax loopholes that have been lobbied into Congress by big corporations and big businesses lobbying politicians to get whatever they want.
So if you lobby the liberals, you work yourself off and you become a multimillionaire, you deserve to pay more because other people didn't work as hard as you?
But it's not because other people didn't work as hard as me. It's because we, as a society, want to give everyone access to things like basic necessities like healthcare, education, have everyone have an equal opportunity. We don't have that right now.
You can have equal opportunity of a baseline, but the outcome would still be different because every individual is going to work different levels,
well,
correct?
Obviously, yeah.
Right, so I think that's where we are as a society. I was able to pull it off. I graduated high school with a 1.9 GPA. I don't have a college degree. So the only limits are the limits you place on yourself. That's just my perspective.
America?
Albert Einstein said that imagination is more important than knowledge. Why do we, you can go read the Bible. The Bible don't say nothing about your education. It talks about the gifts you got from God. Why don't everybody believe they got a God-given talent no more? Why does everybody believe the only way to be successful is to go to college and somebody give you a piece of paper to say, hey, I had African American Studies class? Don't you realize that the most successful people are the people who use their brain and use their imagination? Our brain works in two ways, man. Competitor mode, why do they got that? Why do they do this? That's not fair. I don't like that. Or it can be in creator mode. How do I do this? How do I create that? How do I make the world a better place? How do I change the narrative? This matrix we in, all you got to do is put some new information in there. Put something new into the world and see what happens. You don't have to be a repeat or a carbon copy of something that already existed. What is the point of regurgitating something that's already there? Use your brain to think for yourself.
Is the best country in the world?
I think despite all of our challenges and problems, when you look at all the other countries of the world, everybody is still trying to come here.
The way I can talk out loud, the way I can feel myself, the way I can express myself fully as an individual, it ain't many places black men can go do that outside of America.
3 years ago, when I got into the court systems and the
unless I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below if it's some black men who are well traveled to know how they respect us. Because I'm a firm believer, black men, go where you appreciate it, go where you loved. Don't let somebody tell you how you should be or how you should conduct yourself or what you can and cannot say. You were experienced inside of a body, having a human experience, and you only get one of these things. Don't let nobody control you or tell you what you can and can't be or what you can and can't do. You are a free individual. I love all my guys, man. Live your best life. Much love, much respect.
And government power. And so when you have that stuff stripped away from you and you realize most other countries don't have the freedom that America has. America has been the greatest country ever, and I think it will continue because of a lot of good people that stand up for the right things.
I think I would like to ask the question, what is America the best at?
I think we just was talking about the freedoms that we have here versus what they don't have in other countries.
So what about?
And the fact that, you know, there's a book called Black Fortunes that you can read about the first 6 black slaves that escaped slavery and became millionaires. We're taught that Madam C.J. Walker is the first black self-made millionaire. Imagine if we were all taught that people got out of the mud and 1865 was already millionaires. Imagine how that affects the masses of black youth, right? Because you become what you think about. So if I have positive imagery and I have positive thoughts about myself, then I'm not worried about the negative side, right? But I can teach you about all the black men that were lynched by the Klan, or I can teach you about the black people who escaped slavery and became millionaires. What would be more beneficial to you long term? See, I just see this trick that you don't want to teach me about the greatness. You only want to teach me about the negative side of life. And I'm not oppressed. I'm not a victim. I'm not any of that. So if you want to talk about black history, we want to talk about long-term longevity of black people, then we have to look at the positive side and just stop highlighting the negative side.
Places in Scandinavia that actually have higher amounts of freedom. They have better democracies than we do here, higher quality of life, higher median income. They have healthcare systems that are more efficient, that take care of everyone in their population, more access to education.
But when you look at the big picture,
it's libraries everywhere, bro.
Here. Millions of people are not trying to get
free.
Into Scandinavia.
Why?
Because we have more opportunity than any other place in the world.
We don't even make the top 25 in women equality.
But we have a better opportunity to do something about it compared to other countries. And I would love it for Europe to open their borders the way we have and see if you can get people from other parts of the world to do mass migration to Europe.
I was going to mention Scandinavian countries as well, but I think it's also important to address that Scandinavian countries are very homogenous, racially, socioeconomically. They don't face the same geographic diversity that we have. What you were mentioning with the fact that we have the opportunity to write with women inequality, why is that not happening? It's because the way our democracy is set up, our Congress is literally in a gridlock right now, as it has been for so many past sessions of Congress. We aren't getting anything productive done.
The opportunity we have here is incredible, and I'm very happy that I live here and not somewhere else, but we are so focused on, oh, America is the best, that we don't look at these other countries and say, why are all those people so happy, and what is that, and how can we incorporate that into our society?
I mean, I would say, I think diversity is good. I think diversity of thought and diversity of opinion, it's super helpful. It's really easy to get clogged up into this groupthink. So I don't expect anyone else to agree with me or feel the way I feel. I just expect you to respect my right to feel this way. I respect your right to feel this way, and we keep it moving.
100% agree. I couldn't agree more, actually.
Awesome. That's a wrap.
We all come out of our minds as individuals. Yeah, we're supposed to have the same outlook on life or think the same way or feel the same way about any of that. And why? Why should two people feel the same way about anything, right? I don't understand. It makes zero sense. I never thought personally that everyone needs to think this way or feel this way or do that. Why? What sense would that make? Tell me. Tell me what sense would it make for every one of us to think the same, act the same, look the same, conduct ourselves the same, have the same view on life? No, new ideas are needed in the world, people. New ideas are needed for new thoughts. I want to put something up on the screen. Like I said, man, I don't have any, I'm not shocked this liberal network was dishonest. But I want y'all to see what my actual score was. This is the actual survey that I took for Jubilee. You see when we emailed it, results due by Monday. What does that say? 50% left. You have a fairly balanced split of American and international news source. Now, why would they lie? Why would they say that I was 86% to the right? Because they didn't want people to start thinking and say, damn, maybe this young dude know what he's talking about. Maybe he's not as ignorant as it seems. You wanted to paint me out as just some dumbass person who was another conspiracy theorist who just was reading Fox News and all that. And I don't even watch the news, bro. Look at this. You see what that say? This few red over here, that's Joe Rogan podcast. So play me. Thanks for watching the reaction video. If you don't like it, that's cool too. I really don't give a damn. But I won't be played. I won't be disrespected. And I'm not an ignorant person. And I challenge all young black men and women. Think for yourself. You are so much more than a skin color. You are a spirit in the body. You are God. You can do anything. You can create anything. The only limits you have are the limits you place on yourself. And the more individuals that realize that, the more we can really do some damage. But as long as you think you're limited by your skin color, or you're limited by your gender, or you're limited by your sexual orientation, there will always be limits in your life. Stop placing limits on yourself, people. I promise you. This is from a kid who grew up in a homeless shelter. You can be anything. You can do anything. Faith, consistency, and hard work. No faith needed around you when there's unlimited faith within you. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, I'm out.